Hello, welcome to the Modern Musclehead Podcast. This is Scott Tousignant of MetabolicMasterpiece.com, along with Bryan Krahn of BryanKrahn.com. Today we're going to be talking about getting lean, staying lean, especially getting a lot of people. This kind of stems from conversations or emails that Bryan and I get a lot from guys, especially guys who tend to be kind of skinny fat. So they're not all that heavy, but they don't have a lot of musculature on them, and they're carrying a bunch of fat around. They're around, let's say, 15 to 18% body fat. And they come to us and they're like, well, I'm kind of skinny. Should I be building muscle right now, or should I be cutting? And I know Bryan and I are both of the philosophy that you should, your number one priority is, if you're not already lean, get lean. And today we're going to be covering our reasons for that. I'd say,
absolutely.
Fucking number one, I'd say vanity, man. Vanity, we're bros. Aesthetics. Aesthetics is definitely key. If you're 15 to 18% body fat right now, chances are you're probably borderline starting to look, maybe not sloppy, but if you push it beyond that, you're going to be looking, abs will be completely washed out. You're not going to see a lot of details in your physique. And we're all about, bodybuilding is an aesthetic sport, recreational sport, if you want to call it so. That's a whole other debate. We're not even going to open that can of worms there.
Pageants.
So what are your thoughts on vanity? Doing it, getting lean first, just for the sake of vanity purposes?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, and like you said, I have this conversation with guys, multiple times per week, and they're like, yeah, I'm kind of in that middle spot. Like, I know I really want to be leaner, but should I get bigger? And my focus is to always get people relatively lean first, like not contests, blah blah blah, shredded or anything, but just get them, get their body fat down to a much more kind of comfortable level, so they, for a lot of reasons, but a big part is just like you said, so they feel better about how they look. They look more like, like a bodybuilder, even if they have a little bit of muscle. I mean, because all this is so much illusion.
Yes.
Like, it's always amazing when you see some of these physiques, like in the magazines or online, and you're like, wow, that guy must weigh 220 pounds. And then you find out he's like 170 pounds, but it's just, very lean, great proportion, and it's the illusion factor. So, yeah, I like to get guys leaner, get them feeling good about themselves and looking more like, like a bodybuilder, basically.
Yep.
And then kind of working from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, the illusion thing, I'm glad you touched on that, because it always brings a smile to my face when I start a cutting phase, and I'll be like 2 weeks in or 3 weeks in, and people say, man, you're getting big. What's going on here? You're really throwing on. Like, damn, I'm down 5 pounds. I'm actually lighter than I was a few weeks ago. But people automatically start to think that I'm gaining size, especially shoulders and arms, because you start seeing more details in there. The shoulders look more rounded and capped because there's not as much fat covering them. When there's some fat on your arms and shoulders, it kind of looks smoother and flatter. Yep. So you get the detail in the shoulders, and the shoulders actually look rounder, and the arms end up looking a bit bigger as well. So it's always, and that's always a boost to my confidence. It always keeps me kind of rolling on that cutting phase, my enthusiasm to continue getting leaner, because the leaner I get, the more muscular I look. And you do, like you said, you look like a bodybuilder, whereas when you're sitting around that 15-18% body fat, a lot of times you just look freaking average. You blend into the crowd, and we're not about average. Average kind of sucks.
Yeah, unless you're carrying a lot of muscle, like, then you kind of, that's kind of changes the game. And again, I don't like to see people dieting constantly. I mean, at a certain point you have to, not overeat necessarily, but at a certain point you have to make a concerted effort to build size. But that just works so much better when you're starting from a leaner place.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, just if you're you're just getting rolling and you're kind of chubby or whatever, or you're just not comfortable with your body fat. Yeah, like bring it down. It feels great. Like, first time you get lean is awesome.
Yes.
And then from there, have, if you need more size, and most guys do, then go on more of a dedicated kind of muscle building phase.
Yeah.
And it just works so much better from there too.
Without a doubt. Yeah, we'll get into the physiological reasons for that as well. But just from a mental standpoint. It's a big victory to get yourself down leaner, looking your best, feeling your best. There's a lot to say for that. The confidence that you have, and it's not easy, especially for the skinny fat guys, to see the scale number going down, getting lighter and lighter. Like, man, I knew I should have. They might start questioning themselves. I should have gained muscle at first, but that is some of the best advice I ever got when I went through that process initially. Was to just give myself permission to be light. Don't worry about the scale. Get lean. You're going to look bigger. Most people aren't going to know what you're weighing in at. So just give yourself permission to be light. Get yourself down there. You're going to feel better about yourself, and you're going to see the frame, your real true foundation. What do I need to build upon? Like some guys, like for myself, the first time I got cut, I looked at myself and holy crap, I have no chest. What the hell happened to my chest? It was all fat when I was walking around before. With a shirt on, I looked like I had a muscular chest, but you get ripped, you're like, that's my weakest point. Whereas I would have never freaking guessed it when I was at a higher body fat percentage. So you really get to see what you're working with and how you should be building yourself up from that point on.
Yeah, that's a huge point. I mean, it's body fat is very, very deceiving, and as it starts to come off, and of course it never comes off in a uniform fashion, unfortunately. But as it comes down and you see what you're actually working with, it could be like, wow, I gotta, I got some glaring weak points that I gotta address. So, but I've never had a guy that I worked with. Once he got lean, he's never said, "Oh, this sucks." Why did we do this? I got abs. This is brutal. They're always happy. I like to joke, like I sometimes get guys lean without them even, I'll kind of tell them, yeah, I'm getting bigger here, we're doing this, but really we're slowly getting them leaner, and they don't even know it. But it just makes the whole process so much better, and just for the confidence, and I don't know.
Yeah, and definitely the confidence, because there are a lot of times guys are coming to us because they're not as confident about their physique, and a lot of it has to do with the amount of fat that they're carrying. So if you're starting a building phase at 15-18% body fat and you're already not that comfortable with your body fat percentage, allowing yourself to gain more body fat from there can be a real mental struggle. And I find a lot of times guys at that point are less likely to fully commit to the muscle building phase because they're like, oh man, I'm fat here. I can't allow myself to get bigger than I am right now. So that's one of the benefits of getting leaner. You see, you're not as worried about putting on a few pounds of fat there because you're still going to look fantastic at that point.
Yeah, and again, I can't emphasize enough, like the muscle building process just works so much better starting in a leaner condition. I mean, a lot of it is psychological. I get it. You see what's going on, like on your physique much better without all that body fat, but certainly when you start in better condition, less body fat, you tend to put on quality weight at a much greater ratio than if you start when you're fatter.
Definitely.
I know it's been verified by science. It's certainly been verified by 20 years of doing this. But like when you start from a leaner condition, you just gain quality weight better. So
so it have to do with insulin is basically the main driver.
Sensitivity. Insulin sensitivity and like your fat cells are what they call like their aromatizing machines. Like they basically they crank out more estrogen. That's kind of a layman's way of putting it. But so the leaner you get, typically it can lower your estrogen too. So
right. So your testosterone estrogen levels are going to be in a better ratio the leaner you are. And in regards to insulin, being more insulin sensitive when you're leaner, like when you're in a caloric surplus, a greater percentage of that surplus is going to go towards building muscle mass, being stored in the muscle cells, rather than if you're starting your muscle building phase at a higher body fat percentage, there's a greater percentage of that surplus that's going to go towards being stored as fat. So less of your surplus will be getting directed towards muscle, the fatter you are. So the leaner you are, the greater percentage of the surplus is going to go towards building muscle gains instead of fat gains in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And but again, I just, probably the lion's share of it is just the mental thing, though. I just think, when guys are leaner, I don't know, maybe they start believing in themselves more, that they're bodybuilders, that they own their physique, that this is their, that this is what they do and they're good at it, and they feed themselves a little bit better that way. They have better habits and everything, like I always say, everything is connected. So when you have that greater confidence and a better, perspective on how you operate and you make better decisions, everything, it just, the whole process works better. So to take somebody when they're kind of fat, and just get them fatter, I mean, it's, it's just not a good idea. Plus it makes the ensuing diet, eventually everyone diets, it just makes it that much harder.
Very true. Yeah, because you're going to have to, if someone's coming to you at 15 to 18% body fat, there's going to be a time they're going to want to diet. Like, part of their goal coming to you is they want to get leaner, but should they build first or get lean first? And if you're gonna have to diet, you're better off get it done right now when the damage isn't as bad. Definitely gonna make that cutting phase a lot easier on you psychologically, and starting now, it's gonna shorten that cutting phase so you can get to muscle building a heck of a lot faster. That's a solid point there as well, and just taking advantage of that rebound effect right away too. So even get started if you're at 15-18% body fat right now. Go through that shorter cutting phase, get it done right now, and then it's amazing. Not only will you be in a better state hormonally to build muscle, but taking advantage of that rebound effect where you get lean and then you start add in that surplus afterwards, and your body's going to really be soaking up those calories to gain muscle as well. Yeah,
like that's real. Like that little rebound. I mean, of course, you can't push it too long, but there is that nice little honeymoon period especially after a longer diet, where you just add quality weight better. It's amazing. And some guys, it's absolutely dramatic. And others just tend to, if they make poor choices, they just gain a lot of fat back. But still, it's that rebound period is it's worth the whole grueling diet, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I would say get lean and stay lean. And we're talking relatively lean. You don't want to, like I said, you want to control that rebound period where you that little honeymoon period where you can really soak in those calories, but not extend that for too long. Still keep things in check as you're going along. You don't want to be going through these up and downs, especially if you've been at this for a while, especially if you're over 35, 40 years old. Nice, slow, steady progress in terms of the muscle gains. But, getting lean and staying lean, definitely psychologically, you feel better, you look better, like I said, more confident. But I also feel that starting off at a leaner point, you get to notice the muscle gains a lot better. If it's not covered in a layer of fat, you really get to see the differences pop out. Whereas if you are covered in a layer of fat, your clothes might start to feel better and feel not better, tighter. You're like, oh, my arms are busting out of my sleeves here and everything. I'm really filling out my chest and my shirt here. And that may be your indication, but you really don't know. It still could be fat that you're gaining. Whereas if you get lean and you're staying lean during your building phase, you feel your shirt getting tighter, you can see the difference. You know it's not you're not getting it's not fat gain in the process there. You get to see where you're building the muscle and see it working in action there. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm glad you brought up age. I mean, if somebody in their 20s, you can get away with a lot. Like you can do, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could do like a seafood kind of bulk. Put on a crazy amount of weight, a lot of fats, and that's probably the quickest way to get truly big. I wouldn't recommend it, certainly, but it's probably the quickest way. But someone in their 40s doing that's just a terrible idea. Terrible. It's like if someone's 35, 40, they got fat to lose, it's not even it's not even open to debate. You got to get lean. Got to get lean.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. But so there's not a whole lot more to discuss on that. It really is. It really comes down to putting your body in an optimal hormonal state, getting the insulin sensitivity in check, and just the vanity reasons, the confidence reasons that come with it, the aesthetic reasons. It's all we're in this for aesthetic purposes. So having that layer of fat on you is not going to have you looking your best. So get lean, stay lean, build from there.
It's probably the quickest way to completely transform the look of your physique is to go from sort of average level body fat to quite lean. Like that is, you could do, that's like the closest thing to an overnight transformation that you can do to your body, short of like plastic surgery, I guess.
Yeah.
That's where the magic happens.
You look dramatically different. There's no doubt. I know when I first started my cut, my first cut 5 years ago, I was weighing in around close to 190, and most people would guess my weight around 190. And then when I actually kind of between 180 and 190, and then when I got ripped, got lean, most people were still guessing my weight to be around the same thing. They see my pictures, they see me in person, and they're, what are you weighing? About 180? I'm like, dude, I'm a $150, man. It wasn't easy for me to say, but it was good to, and that said a lot to me because looking at that scale weight, it could mess with my head a little bit psychologically. But when I'm thinking that everyone else around me is thinking I weigh around 180, why do I care what I see on the scale? If they think I look as big as I was when I was fat, it's just a number on the scale there. So I looked heavier the leaner or as heavy the leaner I was there, and looked a hell of a lot much better. And you get a lot more compliments and a lot more people approaching you when you are looking good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Rock on, man. Rock on. Get lean, stay lean. So if you're around that 15-18% body fat, or even if you're just questioning, if you're looking at yourself and I got some fat to lose, just lose it. Get yourself lean, because it's going to make the muscle building process a whole lot more comfortable for you once you get to that point. So get lean, stay lean. Hope you enjoyed this show. Catch you next time.